Hello again. This is the second video that I am creating to help you with your homework tonight. So the first video was how to put two fractions on the same number line. And now I'm going to go over how students were taught to put fractions greater than one whole on a number line. And so one of the fractions that we looked at today was, let me get my marker, was 11 out of 3. And this is a fraction that students may at some point have to put on a number line. And so I'm going to start with this one because this is probably one of the hardest ones that they'll see. And so if they can do this one, then they should be able to do some of the other ones. And so typically when students have to put a fraction on a number line that's greater than one whole, the wholes will be listed. So here is 0, 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 whole, 4 whole. So it will look something like this, and then students will have to find where 11/3 would fit on the number line. And so just like what we did before, we want to look at our denominator to figure out how many pieces are in between 0 and 1 whole. So our denominator here is 3, which means there should be 3 pieces between 0 and 1 whole down here. So I'm going to make my cuts. And then we want to label those just like we've been doing. So this is 1, if I shade this. This is 1 out of 1, 2, 3 pieces in a whole. 3. If I shaded both of these, well then now we've shaded 1, 2 out of the 3 pieces in the whole. And if I kept going again, this would be 3 pieces out of 3 in a whole. We also like to label our 0 out of 3, which they can do at the beginning, or they can go back and do it. Either one is fine. So we have these labeled. This is what we've been working with between 0 and 1. Now we're getting a little bit trickier because now we're going above 1 whole. But just like we did between 0 and 1, we're going to look at the denominator, and that's going to tell us how many pieces are between a whole, between 1 whole and 2 whole. So again, there are 3 pieces. Just like there were between 0 and 1, there are 3 pieces between 1 and 2. So we want to make 2 cuts. So we have 3 pieces. And we want to label these pieces. If I shaded, now I did 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And there are 3 in a whole. And if I kept going, now we colored 5 pieces, and there are 3 in a whole. And if I kept going again, 6 pieces, and 3 in a whole. Now we still have not put our fraction 11/3 on here, so we have to now cut between our next 2 whole numbers. So we're going to cut between our 2 whole and our 3 whole, and we're going to look at our denominator, and that tells us how many pieces we need between the 2 whole and the 3 whole, which is 3 pieces. So we want to make our 2 cuts again. We have our 3 pieces, and now we're going to label them. So we keep shading. Now I've shaded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces, and remember there are 3 in a whole. If I do this, now I shaded 8 pieces, and there are 3 in a whole. And one more time. Now I shaded 9 pieces, and there are 3 in a whole. We still have not done our 11/3, so we need to split again between these 2 whole numbers. We look at the denominator, there should be 3 pieces between the whole numbers, so there should be 3 pieces between 3 whole and 4 whole. So we'll make 2 cuts to get 3 pieces and label again. So we'll shade this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces we've colored, and there's 3 in every hole. And if I shade one more, oops. Oh, too much. Back. If I shade a little bit more till there. I don't know why that popped up. I don't know what's going on. So if I shaded that, now I have 11 thirds, which now I finally have all my pieces colored. I don't know what this box is here though. Whoa. All right, we're just gonna let it go. I don't know why it's there. Oh, got it. Okay, sorry about that. But now we have our 11 thirds put on our number line. And if we wanted to keep going and we shaded again, this would be our 12 thirds, and we could keep going in between the next whole number. We could go between 4 and 5 holes, and we could cut it into 3 pieces and keep going with our fractions. So this is one of the biggest, trickiest skills in 3rd grade, if I'm being honest. And so it will take a while for all of our students to get really comfortable with it, but I'm hoping that this video at least helps you a little tonight when you practice some homework. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I hope this was helpful.